There's something strangely comforting about the night, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because, for a few quiet hours, the world finally asks less of you. No messages to answer, no expectations to carry, no pressure to keep pushing through exhaustion. And somewhere in that darkness, your brain begins doing work that waking life rarely allows. Tonight, as your body rests beneath the surface of awareness, billions of neural connections will begin reorganizing themselves. Stress signals may soften, emotional intensity may begin to loosen. Memories will be sorted, filtered, and stored. Even parts of your nervous system that have remained tense for days or years may briefly enter a state of repair. And perhaps most surprisingly of all, much of this happens without your conscious effort. Your sleeping brain is not inactive. It is deeply, astonishingly alive. Welcome to Better Sleep Daily. Tonight, we're going to slowly explore the hidden science of what your brain heals while you sleep. Not in a rushed way, not in a cold academic way, but gently, calmly, like a quiet conversation late at night when your mind no longer has the energy to pretend it's okay. So wherever you are right now, allow yourself to set everything down for a little while. The overthinking, the unfinished tasks, the pressure to solve tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. Your nervous system has been carrying more than most people can see, and maybe more than even you fully realize. Take one slow breath in and another. There is nothing you need to achieve here tonight, only something to understand. Your brain may be working much harder to heal you than you think. Sleep has often been misunderstood as a passive state, a shutdown mode, a period where the body simply turns off until morning. But modern neuroscience tells a very different story. The brain during sleep is extraordinarily active. In some regions, brain activity becomes nearly as intense as it is during waking life. Only now, instead of reacting to the outside world, the brain turns inward, toward repair, toward regulation, toward emotional processing, toward restoration. And for people living under chronic stress, this hidden nighttime work may be more important than ever. Researchers now believe that deep sleep plays a critical role in regulating emotional stability, nervous system recovery, immune function, memory consolidation, hormonal balance, and even the brain's ability to clear metabolic waste. In other words, sleep is not simply rest. Sleep is maintenance, repair, protection, and sometimes survival. This may help explain why prolonged sleep deprivation affects people so deeply emotionally. After even one poor night of sleep, the emotional centers of the brain become significantly more reactive. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, begins responding more intensely to negative experiences. Small stresses feel larger. Anxiety feels heavier. Thoughts become harder to regulate. And many people begin blaming themselves for this shift, without realizing their exhausted brain is functioning in a biologically different state. Your brain was never designed to endure endless stress without recovery. And yet millions of people try to do exactly that every day, especially at night, when distractions disappear and unresolved emotions finally become audible. This is one reason nighttime anxiety can feel so overwhelming. During the day, the brain is occupied, stimulated, distracted. But in darkness, with fewer external demands competing for attention, the nervous system often reveals what it has been suppressing. For some people, this appears as racing thoughts. For others, a feeling of unexplained dread, a sudden wave of sadness, restlessness, or the strange exhaustion of feeling tired beyond words, while still being unable to sleep. And what scientists discovered next about the sleeping brain became even more fascinating, because the brain does not simply endure emotional experiences during the day, it continues processing them at night. In fact, researchers now believe that one of sleep's most important functions may be emotional recalibration, a kind of overnight emotional processing system. While you sleep, the brain appears to revisit emotionally charged experiences and slowly reduce their emotional intensity over time. Not erase them, not delete them, but soften their sharpest edges, which means something remarkable may be happening during healthy sleep. Your brain could be helping you emotionally survive your life. And perhaps this explains something many people have quietly felt for years. Why certain problems seem unbearable at night, but slightly more manageable in the morning. Sleep changes emotional perception, not because your problems disappear, but because your brain regains some of its ability to regulate them. And that process begins far earlier than most people realize. Even within the very first stages of sleep, the brain begins transitioning away from external awareness. Brainwave patterns slow, muscle tension decreases, stress chemistry gradually shifts. The nervous system starts moving away from survival-oriented alertness and toward restoration, unless, of course, the brain still believes danger is present. And this is where modern stress becomes so disruptive to sleep, because your nervous system does not only respond to physical danger, it also responds to emotional uncertainty, financial pressure, loneliness, burnout, chronic overstimulation, unresolved fear, emotional exhaustion. The body often experiences these conditions as forms of ongoing threat. And when the brain perceives threat, deep restorative sleep becomes harder to fully enter, not because your body is failing, but because your nervous system is trying to protect you, even if that protection has become exhausting itself. And strangely enough, understanding this often helps people suffer less, because many chronic insomniacs secretly believe freed from the ordinary rules of waking thought. And some researchers now believe this loosened dream state processing may be central to the brain's ability to form flexible connections between experiences. Dreaming may help the mind explore emotional and conceptual relationships that waking consciousness would normally suppress. The dreaming brain experiments, associates, imagines, connects distant pieces of experience into something larger. And perhaps this is why dreams sometimes feel emotionally true, even when they are logically impossible. The brain may be processing meaning more than literal reality, trying to emotionally organize life in symbolic ways, trying to integrate experience into a form the nervous system can carry forward. Researchers also increasingly believe that sleep stabilizes internal models of the world itself, not only memories, but the unconscious frameworks through which human beings predict reality. How relationships work, how danger works, how safety works, how life tends to unfold. These internal models are updated gradually across waking experience, but sleep appears essential for consolidating them into usable intuition, which means understanding often finishes forming during the night. The brain keeps processing patterns long after conscious thought stops trying. And because the sleeping brain is designed to generalize patterns, it occasionally produces distortion too. False memories, subtle inaccuracies, details that feel true because they fit emotionally or conceptually with existing experience. This is not necessarily malfunction. It is part of the same adaptive system that allows the brain to infer broader meaning from incomplete information. The brain predicts, connects, generalizes, sometimes beyond literal accuracy. And perhaps emotionally, human beings do this constantly. People build narratives about themselves, about relationships, about safety, about what to expect from life. The nervous system extracts patterns from repeated experience and turns them into expectation, sometimes wisely, sometimes painfully. Which means healing may partly involve helping the brain experience enough new patterns for those expectations to slowly change. Enough safety, enough calm, enough restorative sleep, enough moments where the nervous system realizes not every future must resemble the past. And perhaps this is the deepest realization emerging from decades of sleep science. Sleep and learning are not separate processes at all. They are intertwined continuously. What you experience during the day shapes how the brain sleeps at night. How you sleep at night shapes how you experience the next day. Learning changes sleep. Sleep changes learning. Emotion changes sleep. Sleep changes emotion. The human mind exists in cycles, not fixed states. And maybe this is why no difficult season of life remains entirely permanent. Because the nervous system is always changing, always adapting, always reorganizing itself in response to experience. The sleeper and the learner are not separate versions of you. They are one living process, cycling endlessly between experience and restoration, between effort and repair, between consciousness and the deep hidden intelligence that continues working long after your eyes close. And perhaps tonight, somewhere beneath awareness, your own brain is still trying to carry you gently toward healing too. The more scientists study sleep, the more artificial the separation between waking and sleeping begins to seem. The effort of the day and the restoration of the night are not isolated events. They are parts of one continuous process. The brain that absorbs experience while awake and the brain that reorganizes experience during sleep are not separate systems taking turns. They are one living intelligence cycling between different modes of operation. Learning begins during the day, but much of its deepest transformation happens in darkness, quietly, beyond awareness. And perhaps emotional healing follows the same rhythm. People often assume healing only happens during active effort, during therapy, reflection, conversation, conscious insight. But the nervous system continues processing life long after conscious thought grows quiet. The night keeps working, even now, even while you rest. And perhaps you can already feel your body softening slightly as you listen, breathing slower, muscles heavier, thoughts drifting more loosely than before, your nervous system moving through its own ancient cycles. Activation, release, stillness, repair, again and again, like breathing itself. Inhale, exhale, effort, restoration. The body understands rhythm instinctively, and maybe this is why sleep feels less like shutting down and more like returning to something deeply natural, a state the human brain has trusted for millions of years. You do not have to hold everything together perfectly through the night. The nervous system keeps working even after you stop trying, and sleep does not interrupt the story of your life. It continues it. The neurons activated during the day continue firing in patterns throughout the night. Experiences replay, emotions reorganize, connections strengthen. The unfinished work of the day quietly carries forward into sleep. A child struggling to ride a bicycle one evening, then suddenly succeeding the next morning, has already experienced this hidden process directly. The skill was not fully completed during practice itself. The brain continued refining it afterward, in darkness, without effort, without awareness. And perhaps adults experience versions of this constantly. An emotional realization arriving after sleep, a difficult conversation feeling different in the morning, a burden becoming slightly lighter overnight. The nervous system continues integrating experience beneath consciousness. Morning is often not the beginning of change. Only the moment change becomes noticeable. Deep inside the brain, the hippocampus quietly replays fragments of waking life throughout the night. Not every detail, not every moment equally. The brain selects, prioritizes, compresses experience into patterns that matter most. Certain moments stabilize more deeply, others gradually loosen and fade. Every morning, people wake having unconsciously released parts of the day behind them and carried other parts forward more permanently into themselves.
Relationship with bedtime itself. Because after years of exhaustion, frustration, and hypervigilance, many sensitive people unconsciously begin associating nighttime with struggle instead of safety. The bed becomes a place of pressure, a place where the mind worries about whether sleep will come, and the nervous system stays alert in anticipation. Healing often means rebuilding trust with rest itself, slowly teaching the body you no longer need to stay awake to stay safe. And perhaps this requires a completely different relationship with sleep than the one most people are taught. Not sleep as productivity, not sleep as another task to accomplish perfectly, but sleep as nervous system care, as emotional recovery, as biological compassion for a brain that experiences life intensely. Sensitive nervous systems often need longer wind-down periods, gentler evenings, consistent routines, reduced stimulation before bed, soft transitions out of the chaos of the day, not because they are fragile, but because they remain deeply responsive to their environments long after stimulation ends. And when you begin working with your nervous system instead of fighting it, something slowly changes. Sleep stops feeling like an enemy and starts becoming a form of healing again. By now, a pattern may be becoming clear. Your sensitivity affects sleep in many interconnected ways. Stress lingers longer. Emotions process more deeply. Environmental stimulation affects you more intensely. Empathy causes you to carry emotional energy that was never fully yours. And the same nervous system that desperately needs rest often struggles the hardest to reach it. But none of this means you are broken. It means your brain requires a different kind of care than the world usually teaches people to give themselves. So tonight, perhaps the goal is not to force yourself into sleep. Perhaps the goal is simply to stop fighting the nervous system that has been trying to protect you all along, and let it finally feel understood. Perhaps the most important thing we've discovered tonight is this: your struggle with sleep is not a moral failure. It is not proof that you are weak, undisciplined, broken, or incapable of handling life correctly. It is the natural consequence of living with a nervous system that experiences the world more intensely than most people realize. And understanding that changes something important, because understanding creates compassion, and compassion calms the nervous system in ways self-criticism never can. For so many sensitive people, bedtime becomes another performance, another place to feel frustrated with themselves, another reminder that rest feels difficult while everyone else seems to drift effortlessly into sleep. But your brain has never been operating under the same conditions. Your nervous system has been carrying more input all day long, more emotion, more stimulation, more internal processing, more subtle awareness. Of course, rest feels different for you. Take a slow breath now. Notice the weight of your body against the bed. Notice how much tension your nervous system has been carrying without your conscious awareness. The jaw, the shoulders, the chest, the stomach. Your body has been bracing itself against the world for hours. And tonight, perhaps it no longer needs to. You are not the only sensitive person lying awake right now. There are countless others quietly carrying invisible emotional exhaustion into the darkness each night. People who feel too much, think too deeply, stay emotionally alert far too long. And maybe hearing this allows part of your nervous system to finally stop feeling alone. Sleep itself follows rhythms more intricate than most people realize. Throughout the night, the brain moves through repeating cycles of restoration. Some stages focus more on physical repair. Others focus more on emotional processing and memory integration. Early in the night, deeper restorative sleep becomes more dominant. This is when the body repairs itself most intensely, when the brain clears accumulated waste from the day, when the nervous system begins releasing some of the pressure it has been carrying. Later in the night, REM sleep becomes longer and more frequent. This is the stage connected to emotional integration, dreaming, and the processing of emotional experiences. For sensitive people, these later stages matter profoundly because emotionally responsive brains carry more emotional information into sleep each night, more social nuance, more emotional memory, more unresolved feeling, and much of that emotional material gets processed during REM sleep, which means when sensitive people cut sleep short, they often lose critical emotional recovery time without realizing it. The body may physically wake up, but emotionally, the nervous system remains unfinished. And there is another reason sleep can feel so fragile for highly sensitive minds. Your brain is constantly filtering sensory information. Every sound, every movement, every subtle environmental change. Most nervous systems automatically tune much of this out, but sensitive brains often allow more sensory information into conscious awareness, which is helpful during the day when noticing subtle details, but difficult at night when the brain desperately needs to disengage from the outside world. A small sound can feel enormous. A faint light becomes distracting. Tiny environmental changes continue pulling the nervous system back toward awareness, even during sleep. And this creates another layer of exhaustion. Sensitive people often do not fully understand. Their brains remain partially attentive, even while trying to rest, still monitoring, still listening, still processing the environment, which means deep sleep requires more intentional protection, more darkness, more quiet, more emotional calm, not because you are demanding, but because your nervous system was designed for heightened awareness. And tonight, instead of fighting that truth, perhaps you can simply care for it gently, like tending to a mind that has spent the entire day carrying more than anyone else could see. A nervous system that no longer needs to defend itself against the world for one more hour. A body slowly learning that rest is safe now, and that sleep does not need to be earned, only allowed. When sensitive people lose sleep, the effects rarely stay small, because sleep deprivation does not only create tiredness in a highly sensitive nervous system, it removes the very thing that keeps emotional overwhelm manageable. Without enough rest, feelings become sharper, stress feels heavier, noise becomes harder to tolerate, the nervous system loses flexibility. Things you could normally handle suddenly feel impossible, and this can feel frightening when you do not understand what is happening inside your brain. You may wonder why small problems suddenly feel enormous, why your patience disappears, why emotions feel closer to the surface, why the world becomes too loud, too fast, too emotionally intense. But often, this is not weakness, it is nervous system depletion. Sensitive minds already process life with extraordinary depth during waking hours. More emotional nuance, more sensory information, more subconscious awareness. And sleep is the process that helps organize, regulate, and recover from all of that intensity. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, the brain loses access to its primary emotional repair system, and sensitive people feel the effects more powerfully because their nervous systems were already carrying heavier processing loads to begin with. Researchers use the term allostatic load to describe the acute when to rest. Shift work, chaotic routines, and constantly changing sleep schedules can leave sensitive nervous systems feeling permanently disoriented. the internal clock struggles to stabilize, and when the body loses rhythm, the nervous system often loses resilience too. This is why routines become deeply healing for sensitive people, not because they are controlling, but because consistency creates safety. The body begins trusting what comes next, and trust is what allows the nervous system to finally release its constant vigilance. So tonight, perhaps your body is not difficult. Perhaps it is simply trying to protect its rhythm in a world that rarely slows down long enough to honor it. And maybe rest begins not by forcing yourself to function like everyone else, but by finally respecting the way your nervous system was designed to move through the world, slowly, deeply, and with far more feeling than most people will ever understand. Sensitive nervous systems often struggle deeply with inconsistency. The body wants rhythm, predictability, a sense of knowing when rest will come. But modern life rarely offers that. Irregular schedules, shift work, late nights followed by early mornings, constant changes in routine. For many people, this creates inconvenience. For sensitive people, it can feel like the nervous system never fully stabilizes. The internal body clock becomes confused. The brain no longer knows when to fully wake or fully rest. And over time, this constant readjustment creates exhaustion that feels almost impossible to recover from. Many sensitive people blame themselves for this fatigue, but your body is responding exactly the way a highly responsive nervous system naturally would. The brain thrives on rhythm because rhythm creates safety, predictable sleep times, predictable light exposure, predictable transitions into rest. These patterns help the nervous system stop preparing constantly for change. And when life disrupts those rhythms repeatedly, sensitive brains often pay a heavier price. This is why intentional sleep routines matter so much when life becomes chaotic. Darkness during daytime sleep, white noise, consistent wind down rituals, gentle transitions before rest. Not perfection, support, helping the nervous system adapt to a world that often asks it to ignore its own biological timing. Relationships affect sensitive sleep deeply too, because emotionally responsive people do not stop sensing emotional energy simply because the lights go out. A supportive relationship can help the nervous system soften. Feeling emotionally safe with another person often calms vigilance in ways nothing else can. But tension inside relationships can remain in the body for hours, sometimes all night. Sensitive people notice the subtle things, the shift in tone, the emotional distance, the unspoken frustration, the silence after conflict, and the nervous system continues processing these emotional signals long after the conversation ends. Some sensitive people sleep best alone because solitude reduces sensory and emotional monitoring. Others sleep best beside someone they trust deeply because emotional safety helps the nervous system relax. Neither is wrong. The goal is not normality. The goal is understanding what actually allows your body to rest. And perhaps this requires difficult honesty sometimes about what environments soothe you, what relationships calm you, what emotional conditions quietly keep your nervous system awake. Financial stress can become especially overwhelming for sensitive people too, because sensitive minds do not simply notice present problems. They mentally travel into possible futures, the uncertainty, the consequences, the fear of instability. The brain keeps trying to prepare for every possible outcome. And because emotionally responsive nervous systems experience threat more intensely, financial pressure can remain inside the body long after practical thinking stops. Not because you are weak, because your nervous system treats uncertainty as something emotionally significant. The body stays alert. Sleep becomes lighter. The brain keeps trying to solve tomorrow before it arrives. And all of this affects something called sleep efficiency. Not just how long you stay in bed, but how deeply and continuously you actually sleep. Sensitive people often spend long periods physically exhausted, yet neurologically alert, falling asleep slowly, waking frequently, remaining partially aware of the environment even during the night. The body rests incompletely. The nervous system never fully lets go, and this creates a kind of hidden exhaustion many people around you will never fully understand. You look functional, but internally, the nervous system has not truly recovered in a very long time, which is why sensitive people often feel tired in their souls, not only in their bodies. So tonight, please remember this. Your sleep struggles are not proof that you are failing at life. They are signs that your nervous system experiences the world with extraordinary depth, and perhaps your healing begins the moment you stop demanding that your body function like everyone else's and start giving it the kind of rest it has quietly needed all along. Gentle, consistent, safe enough to finally soften into sleep. Many sensitive people spend enough hours in bed, yet still wake feeling exhausted, because being in bed is not always the same as truly sleeping. The nervous system may remain partially alert all night long, waking briefly, monitoring sounds, processing stimulation, hovering between rest and awareness without fully surrendering to deep sleep. And over time, this creates a painful kind of invisible fatigue. You technically slept, but your nervous system never fully stopped working. This is why sensitive people often need more time for rest than others seem to require. Not because they are lazy, because the quality of recovery is different. Their brains remain active longer, more vigilant, more emotionally engaged with the world even during the night. And perhaps now a deeper truth is becoming clear. Your sensitivity and your sleep have always been connected. The same nervous system that notices subtle emotional shifts, that absorbs stimulation deeply, that processes life intensely, is the same nervous system trying to recover every night while still partially listening to the world. This is not a flaw in your character. It is biology. A highly responsive nervous system naturally requires more restoration, more quiet, more darkness, more gentleness, and perhaps the greatest healing begins when you finally stop fighting this truth. When you stop trying to prove you can function exactly like everyone else, and instead begin giving your nervous system what it has quietly needed for years: permission to rest without guilt. Take a slow breath now. Feel your body growing heavier, the bed beneath you holding more of your weight, your mind no longer needing to solve everything before sleep arrives. There are rhythms moving through everything in life: morning and night, breathing in and breathing out, effort and release, wakefulness and sleep. And your sensitivity belongs to those rhythms too. Sometimes it overwhelms you. Sometimes it allows you to feel beauty more deeply than words can explain. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it becomes your greatest source of empathy, creativity, and emotional understanding. But none of it means you are broken. It simply means you experience life intensely, and tonight you no longer need to apologize for that. Sleep itself may be one of the most healing things your brain does. While you rest, the brain begins cleaning and restoring itself, repairing, reorganizing, releasing the accumulation of the day, especially for sensitive minds that spent hours processing emotion, stimulation, tension, and information more deeply than most people realize. Your brain has been working hard all day long. Of course, it needs restoration. Of course, it longs for quiet. Silence now becomes medicine for your nervous system. Darkness becomes relief. Stillness becomes permission to stop monitoring the world for a little while. Every sense that worked tirelessly all day can finally begin softening its grip. Your hearing no longer needs to stay alert. Your eyes no longer need to process light and movement. Your body no longer needs to brace itself against the pressure of the outside world. And perhaps tonight, your dreams will gently continue the work your waking mind could not finish: sorting emotions, connecting memories, weaving today's experiences into something softer, calmer, more understandable by morning. Not perfectly, but gradually, quietly, the way healing often happens for sensitive people. So let the day dissolve now. You have carried enough, thought enough, felt enough, protected yourself enough. Tonight, you are allowed to rest, and the nervous system that works so hard to carry you through this world is finally allowed to sleep too. Tonight,